And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 357, and I'm joined by the amazingly talented, he's successfully failing and still going on that world tour. We got Danny Darko in the building. What's going on, man? What's going on?
I am good, man. How are you, Ray?
I'm good. We're getting through it. We're going through it here, but I'm glad we could finally have this conversation here. It's been one I've been looking forward to for a while now. So I was glad we can set a time here and get to finally pick your brain a bit. But before we get into all that, because there's a lot I want to talk about, a lot of things we're going to get into, I have to ask you the question I ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. It's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean to you?
Craft as pertains to me or just in general?
Oh, when you hear it. So again, for whichever manner you would like.
Okay, so I mean, as an artist, pretty much the art. So whether it be drawing or photography or acting or writing, music, wrestling, that's a craft to me, or just something you're passionate about. It doesn't even have to be like art per se. You know, um, you could be into hammering spreadsheets. If that's your craft, then you know, that's pretty much what craft is to me, or arts and crafts.
Hey, we've gotten the mix. We've gotten everything. We've gotten also that 1996 movie multiple times that's been answered on here. So you never know. It's just it's a mix of things.
I'm surprised I didn't bring that up. It's funny. Like that movie is very popular, especially within I don't know how old you are, but in my age range, it's definitely a popular movie. But yeah, I didn't even think to bring that up.
It works out though, because again, we want the genuine answer, so it works out. But that's been a few times that I've had people on here. I want to say Sammy joked about it too when we had Sammy Callahan. So it's always.
I'm kind of glad. I guess I'm an original.
There you go. Well, look at that. We already got the people tuning in. We got Matt Awesome in there.
Awesome.
Showing love. What's going on, normal guy? What's going on? We got Lonnie. Is that the Danny Darko? It is.
Oh my god, you guys kill me with the Danny Darko. I love y'all, man, for real. Like this ride has been crazy. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
Am I allowed to curse?
Yes, you can curse away, man. Curse away.
Cock shit fuck. All right.
I always say until they try to offer to semi-pay for this, we're cursing away. Once we got to answer to someone else, then it's like, well, then we got to narrow it back a bit. But till then, curse
keep
away.
It classy.
It's all good. Look at that. We got Sammy Chaos in the building. What's going on?
The motherfucking legend herself.
We got Two Belt Sammy, the bet. Look at that. And there we go. We got the Hermano Hoka in the building. Look at that with the goat right there. There you go.
Takes one to know one, baby.
See, this is what we love. Again, it's just that genuine love. This is an episode, I'm telling you. I definitely wanted to make this happen. I wanted to be able to have this sit down with you. But the reaction we got, brother, I don't know if you saw just how much, again, your work is valued, how much you are loved in this. So, again, it's a pleasure to finally get to sit down with you, man.
It's an honor to be here, man. It's just crazy hearing stuff like that, man, It is wild, brother. But it's definitely great to be here.
Oh, definitely, man. I'm glad. Well, let's get into that. Let's get into the reason, again, we are here and finding that passion. Like, what is it for you that got you into, because it's weird. I want to frame it this way. Instead of, usually I ask, what is it that made you get into the squared circle? What is that made you find that love with shooting? What is it that made you find that love of picking up the camera and just, again, making the amazing art that you do?
So I guess for one, I've always loved wrestling, or at least liked wrestling. Like I was one of those that watched it when I was young. I've always been a big Sting fan. I grew up back where my grandfather, my father, we used to watch pay-per-views on the black box, the black cable box with the switch in the back.
Yep.
And my grandfather used to record all that on VHS, and me and my pops, we weren't really super close, but when it came to wrestling, we all sat down and watched it. So anyways, that kind of where it stemmed from. I never thought I would be a wrestling photographer. I was really into sports.
Gotcha.
Basketball, a dream of mine is to shoot the Knicks. That's top of the list for me. And pretty much, yeah, just I've been shooting for over, where are we at, 2025? Holy
That moment of realization.
You don't realize what time is until you actually like look at it and
Yeah.
sit down and but yeah, so it pretty much my love for photography started when I was dressed up as the Joker for Halloween. I went to the city for one of the parades.
Ooh, okay.
This was literally the year the Dark Knight came out. Dressed up as the Joker. A couple took a photo of me with like a DSLR. And they showed it to me, like they showed me the picture, and right out the bat, it looked like a movie still.
Ooh.
And from there, I've always loved movies and stuff like that. So it kind of just dawned on me. I didn't really jump into photography yet, but I was very like picky with my pictures. Like I wanted everything to look cool.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so that kind of like started it a bit. It took me a while to really get into it. Like there's a couple times where I had a camera and I didn't really dabble in it as much as I wanted to. Kind of afraid of like manual settings. Don't know why, because when you really break it down, it's not that difficult. But yeah, that's pretty much where it stemmed from. And then fast forward to 2022, me and Kayla, my girlfriend, we had a couple trips planned. We were going to Alaska
Ooh,
and we were going to Disneyland. And she kind of came to the realization. So she likes to go out and like do photo shoots. So
gotcha.
she was like, "Let's get a real camera," and we got the camera, and I took it out with me every day. I walked like miles, like just took the camera out and just took photos of anything that looked cool. I guess like street photography per se.
Nice. Okay.
And then, yeah, and then it just so happened that I kind of almost literally like stumbled upon the wrestling thing, and it's like that one guy that just walks in and all of a sudden he's there. Um, that was me, and it's just pretty wild to see like how my shit resonates with people. You don't really notice your how powerful your art is, especially like on the photography world. So like people tell you stories when you show them a photo or whatever. Um, there's like a bunch of instances where people have like something that I didn't even think about. I just took the photo and they like hit me up with like, "Yo, this such and such was like, I don't know, like maybe my father just passed not too long ago and something like that, or like this is like a big moment for me where like I won a championship, stuff like that." Yeah, you don't really notice how important your shit is till people like hammering you with it.
No, and it's why I said like it. Just seeing that it's truly it creates that art. That's why it's one of those where I even say like, what was it to get to that now? That process of finding your art, and it's crazy because it usually how it is with wrestling. A lot of times it's just, hey, we find that way in, we find that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then choosing that, then like finding that and getting in there, what was it for you that I was like, you know what, let's keep taking these shots now and finding that direction of how to shoot your way for wrestling? Because I can imagine it's a whole different beast, especially compared to just again doing amazing photography and street art of
Mm-hmm.
finding well, now there's a bunch of bodies being thrown around with it.
Well, so for me, there's like parallels to this. So like when you're walking around, the way I do, I just walk around. I don't really have sometimes like I have a point of where I want to go to.
Gotcha.
Maybe like say I want to go to like drop off film or something like that, or go pick up something. That'll be like my point, but I'll kind of get lost along the way. But anyways, when you're doing like the street photography thing, whether it's like taking pictures of people or things moving around, there's a constant change of like scenery and like people passing by. You can't really tell them to stop. If a car is driving by,
Yeah.
you kind of can't tell them to stop or do that again. So it's almost the same thing. So there's a lot of like parallels with street photography and wrestling.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, that's the cool thing about it for me. I guess it was just like it was really just getting in there, and then it almost became second nature. Like I'm always nervous, I'm always worried about certain things, but then when I get in there, like I said, it's um just a sort of mindset of like being in the moment, trying to just capture everything. But yeah, so there's really not that much difference between street photography and wrestling, and that's why I tell a lot of people to go take your camera with you everywhere. um you can like I can give you whatever tips that I may have or whatever, like any little tidbits of knowledge or whatever knowledge but just take your camera out and go shoot, and then also too, it's about being passionate. So like if you genuinely love what you're shooting, then it's gonna show. And we all know there's a lot of people out there, not in what I'm doing, but just in general, that like they see something's cool and they do it, but they're not really passionate about it. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's
it's
a
definitely,
whole
you notice the difference. Again, that's why
yeah.
that was one of the main things I wanted to talk about was finding that passion in this, because again, I can imagine, like you said, that was never the idea from the get-go. But
Yeah.
before we even get into that, I want to also acknowledge we got Gail from PWJ in the chat. What's going on?
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on?
Another legend,
My
baby.
favorite right there. And then we got our good buddy Smiley in the
Oh,
chat. What's going
Smiley, let's
on?
go. Dude, I have such a like one of my favorite photos I took. This is at the first like ringside show that I did.
Yeah.
High Intensity 2023. And
Oof.
yeah, he was just like doing his thing. He came in the Rumble, hung upside down, and he just stood there for me. Yeah, one of my favorite shots.
Oh,
Smiley's great, bro.
no, that's a good brother right there. Can't
And my
wait to
man Gil, I cannot say enough nice things about him, man. Like
definitely.
it's been an honor to work with him, and I can't wait for the next show. And yeah, Gil's a great dude, man. If you haven't got around, if you ever at a show and you see him, say hello. Awesome guy.
Oh, definitely
Same thing
so.
with Ray.
Thank you. So let's get into that though now. Finding that passion for this though, because again, like you said, you had that fandom already though.
Mm-hmm.
How do we create that passion of now finding? I want to shoot this more. I want to get into that. And what was that first show, even if it wasn't ringside, that you really got to again take those shots at a full show?
Okay, so one little thing I don't know many people know, but deep down inside, I like really would love to be a wrestler. Um,
Okay.
so like long story short, yeah, I've been into it. I think once I got put onto New Japan and
Yeah.
JPW, that changed everything for me. My perspective on wrestling and what it is to me, and what it makes me feel, and and I was always like, damn, that shit's so cool, but I'm kind of like allergic to working out. So that, to be honest, if it wasn't for that, I would probably dive into it. There's been a couple people that like having a conversation with them about wrestling, and they're like, yo, why don't you do it? And I'm like, nah. But so I kind of like live vicariously through my passion. So like doing the photography is almost like another way of me living that out. And then whatchamacallit, like it kind of was the same with music. I've always been into music, and I figured if I'm not gonna be making music, which is something I did at one point, but if I'm not making music, I want to be involved in it somehow. So I would go take my camera to like concerts, and that mentality trickled into like wrestling, because like when I go places, like I'm living in the moment. So like believe it or not, when I'm shooting ringside, like I'm watching everything. Like so like it's not the same as if I'm watching it at home,
Of
I'm
course.
sitting down, but I still like, a lot of times I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. So but yeah, I've always like kind of just like with music and wrestling, like I said, if I'm not doing it like actually like wrestling or making music, I want to be involved in it and bringing it to life for like people who aren't there, just like to kind of give people a perspective of like what you're missing out on. Like Nick Richardson, he another amazing photographer.
Yes, definitely so.
He we were having a conversation. He told me something really cool, and this kind of like made my I want to say my year. He said like he was talking to somebody about like both of our work, and he said like if you want to see what you missed, you look at Nick's work, because Nick has the more journalistic, But Nick said if you want to feel what you missed, look at my work. And I was like, holy shit, that is like that was like the highest of high compliments right there. So to make people like feel something with the photo, that's crazy. Because you doing this, there's so many other people doing it. Like you got a lot of amazing people. I work with Gunny, I work with Red Shoes, I work with Scott Lesh, Nick Richardson, Tina from I forget where exactly she's located at, but I've worked with her in 3LW, my man Jared. Like the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But to be able to sort of like
Hey,
not
you
only
said his name and he appears. Look at that. We got Gunny in the chat.
Yeah, no, dude, I remember just like working with him and Red Shoes that first time, and they were just like so welcoming, and yeah, like bro, they're nasty at it, man. Like if you look at some of like look at Gunny's stuff, like there's stuff that he hasn't really put out there, and bro, I'm like, why are you not putting that out there, bro? It's so fucking good. um, but yeah, so just to get a compliment like that, from a photographer who's really good at what they do, and like somebody who hasn't been doing this for this long. Like I've only been doing it for 2 years almost, believe it or not.
Which again is insane though, looking at the level of work you're doing. But also shout out to we got David in the chat. What's going on? What's going on?
This guy, nah,
Um, but
David's
it's
another legend, man. Holy shit.
yeah, definitely, and just that level of your work, man. That's why I can agree. Just at 1,000% of you get that feeling looking at your art, looking at the images you're taking, just seeing what you're creating there. Like there's one, and I'm so mad I didn't save it because you really get that feeling of shout out to the good bro Tussle. You took a picture of him during
That's another one.
Philadelphia, and it's like seeing that I was like, oh that's sick. Like just that image alone. It's like things like that it's like, oh, it just gives you that real, oh, this is why you have to be at these shows. You get that real feeling through the images and you get that story. Like, again, wrestling is such a storytelling business. Being able to do that through your images says so much, man.
Yeah, and like as a things are constantly moving, and like I said, you can't tell people to do it again. I mean, the funny thing is I wear this mask ringside, so
Yeah.
I there's been times where I'm like, yo, stay there, stay there. And it's pretty funny how that works. But yeah, like it's you can't really strive for perfection. I mean, you can, but you gotta also come to the realization that everything's not gonna be perfect. Like I look at my photos sometimes and I'm like, why am I here? Like I feel like they could be so much better, from a technical standpoint. And I'm always learning as any good artist or any artist. They're always learning. If they're at a point where they're not learning, just stop. But yeah, it's this like tough battle of like you have to kind of like forget about perfection, and like just as long as you capture that moment and that feeling. Some of my favorite photos are photos that are not even really in focus. um Maybe there's certain things that are off about it, but at the end of the day, like it's just this emotion that's invoked. Like I save a lot of photos that most people will probably throw out because like they're messed up for whatever reason. But there's a story to it.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do, for better or worse. Like I have more files on my computer, but sometimes it's just cool to have like some of these fucked up photos.
No, and it's one of those where again, I give you guys, and I've told this to Gunny, and I've gave to so many of just like I again am humbled just seeing all of this because I'm just like, oh my god, it's truly is art. I always say, I'm glad I can at least I can talk it, I can do commentary, I can do the all that stuff. I can't take a picture to save my life, like even with a phone. So to see the amazing work that you guys do, I'm like, hey, this is we are thankful always because
Wow.
the insane things that you guys do again to be able to do it where you guys say, oh, this isn't right. I'm like, brother, it's amazing. Like the shot again, I can imagine how much you guys critique your own work, but it's like to us, we're looking at like that's an insane shot right there. Yeah, but it's not right because of this. It's like, no.
Yeah, I try to like not think like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you just like, damn, like I'll go through the editing process and I'm like, but that's literally my reaction. But then, you save the photos, you send them out, and then people are like, oh, these are really good, like, and they're being genuine, like
No.
they're not just saying that, and that's cool. So you
No,
kind of
that,
just gotta
that's
like,
been the best thing. Like, and you've seen it again. That's why I say, hey, for you saying it's only been 2 years, it's like, no, but it's 2 years of again, that level just keeps going more and more and more, and it evolves every time, man.
oh, dude,
Like,
I love it, man. The funnest like I think this is like the funnest stretch of my entire life, and I don't say that lightly. I think like last year was just it's beyond words, man. From like the places I've been to the people I've met, that right there, like the moments that I captured, shit like that is cool, man.
No, I can only imagine again because, like you say, that 2 year span. But then we're gonna look at some shots in a bit that is just like it's insane who you've gotten to shoot so far, and it only shows where again the sky's the limit where it can go. But
Yeah.
before we get into those images, I do want to get your reaction on a bit. I
Okay.
want to shout out. We got Anthony Gamble in the building. What's going on, Anthony?
Yo,
What's going on? What's going on?
I'm excited to
Uh,
shoot your match, bro. Art is what you love. Dude, I'm telling you,
there you
man.
go.
Like, I know, y'all give me shit for like, sometimes like doing a lot. Like, I know, like a lot of the guys are like, "Yo, you're gonna burn yourself out." And physically, I am, bro. I'm 38 years old. I'll be 39 this year. I feel it. Like, I feel it, man. But I'm never mentally drained, bro. I feel like I have the most anxiety when I'm not doing stuff. Now, granted, I will stay, like play video games at home and shit like that, and spend time with Kayla. But yeah, there's times where I'm telling her, I'm like, yo, I have so much anxiety, and she's like, what's wrong? She's like, I don't know. I guess I'm not creating. I'm not out there shooting. So, like, we got MLW airs their taping their whatever taped episode tomorrow, and we didn't do a show last month, so there's this like big gap of like, and dude, there's so much shit I want to share, so like that's just giving me anxiety. I'm like, it's like a catch 22 because it's cool because you don't have to edit all the photos right away,
Yeah.
but then I have some bangers, man. Like I have some fucking bangers that like, oh my god. And it's always like that. It's always the pre-tape shows. But anyways, yeah, like it's just a interesting you know.
No, it's a trust me, I get it so much because especially now, like I am big on, especially you've seen the videos I've been posting. I'm big on the edits and all that. And when there's moments of like, man, I could be editing right now. Like, you know what? Let me start looking at this. Like the other day, I got and I told a friend about it that I was like, I'm in the middle of a mall just doing things, and I got an idea, and I was like, nope, I have to stop and just start pulling out like, oh, I could do this. I could put this song here, and we could. And it's like it just creates that almost anxiety of like, I have to do something creative right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing this, but nope, I gotta do something.
And it's not a bad thing. It's like genuinely like fun. You're happy doing
Yeah.
this, like you want to create. It totally beats the whole like I gotta go to work,
Yeah.
do the 9 to 5 shit. Cause I did that for so long, and like it's a struggle still. You know what I mean? Like not doing that stuff, but at the end of the day, like I'm able to like do the shit I do, and be free. Like I always say, like it sucks struggling, but at the end of the day, if you're happy doing what you're doing, like there's obviously more of a reward with that. There's a big risk, but you know, sometimes you gotta just take that leap. I know as cliche as that sounds, you gotta take that
No,
leap.
you definitely do again. And that is, I think, the biggest thing about the industry and just again doing what you love is taking that leap to see, hey, the passion might pull off. The passion
Yes,
might
sir.
pull off there. And here we go. We got Abraham Khan saying, that's why I say he's always raw. He captures moments. Definitely does. Definitely
Man,
does.
yeah, Abraham, he's such he's been so good to me, man. Like it's crazy because I've so I barely shot him at Brooklyn Comic Con last year. We talk from time to time. It's like, but the amount of love I get from people that like I don't see or work with on a regular basis is crazy, man. So like to know that I impact somebody who I barely get to talk to or chill with or whatever, like that's cool, man. And then like yeah, the last show we did a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know. Usually I kind of have an idea what's gonna happen, or I ask or whatever they tell me. But I kind of went into that show super like, like blind, and yeah, I caught some big moments for him. Man's the I forgot what the championship is, but he is a champion now
Yeah,
for a Battle Club Pro
he's the new franchise champion. And
franchise champion. There you go.
yeah, still very questionable methods. Still questionable methods.
Hey, I am a heel at heart, so I'm all for it, bro. When my friends do evil things, man, like I love it. Like anytime I see some of the guys and girls turn heel, like when I'm there and they turn heel,
Yeah.
I pop. When Najee turned heel, sorry, Raheem Royale, when he
I
turned
was like,
heel, that got a big pop from that. I
yeah,
was mad. There was a Scotland from LPW House of Glory.
yeah.
He's the ring announcer for them. There was an angle where he went heel on the House of Glory show, but that's when I wasn't there for that show. I was so mad that I missed that. It's like, damn, he went heel and I wasn't there for it. But I'm all for that shit. I love when the guys go bad.
Yeah, it gets that reaction again. It gets that genuine raw reaction of people of just like, oh man, how could that? Like, hey, right now in wrestling, everyone's talking about a certain heel turn that just happened over the weekend. So it's the best reactions. It's the
Dude, I've
best
been waiting for that
reactions.
shit. Me, my brother, and a couple of my friends, we've been waiting for fucking Thug Life Cena to come. We've been waiting for that to Doctor Thugonomics. There you go. We've been waiting for
Yeah.
that to happen for so long, and I mean, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but hey,
Hey, who
close
knows?
enough.
Again,
Yeah.
that's what so many people are thinking we might get eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the edits of are we just gonna get a Batman theme, or are we gonna get basic thugonomics again? Whatever we're gonna get, it's very fun to see and say. You never know. You never know what can happen in wrestling now.
Yes, sir.
But there we go. We got my fam over from Backstage Brawl. What's going on? What's going on? We got Abe saying when you're passionate about what you're doing, it's very rewarding. Definitely is.
Yes, sir.
Definitely is.
I love like doing it from my point of view, but then seeing like all you guys and girls get like get rewarded with your hard work and your passion. I think the coolest thing is seeing like a lot of the young and up and coming talents, see them start to to climb that ladder and blow up and shit like that. Like, I mean, I kind of started shooting Marcus during his rise, but just seeing like Marcus Mathers, seeing that rise, him just like Zeta, another one. Shooting her in MLWs was always a treat. She had that spunk. She went to Japan. It was a little sad because obviously we can't work with her for a while. She came back and bro, full like just fucking full on, just killing it.
Yeah.
And it's always cool to see that. Like so it's great to shoot the legends. It really is. But it's also really awesome to see like the younger cats just rise.
No, definitely. I can imagine it's that great thing of again the honor of getting to be around legends and just hear them and be able to talk with them. But then you see that rise of young talent that it's like this is what's going to get us to that next level. This is what's going to get us again. That's going to continue on for years and years to come. But now I did, like I said, I picked out a few images here that I want to play around with and get your reactions for. And I can imagine again the chat's also going to talk about, and we talk about that. We talk about legends. And we talk about what's going to keep us going years to come. I start with this image right here that when I saw it, I was like, oh man, this tells a story. And it's this picture right here.
That just popped up on my like like the memories on Facebook or whatever. Yeah.
That image right there, you got the Padrino himself, the notorious 187 homicide, and then you got the L-list, you got Mike Santana. Just that image right there, man. I can imagine it's one of those like you see them talking, it's like, hey, this will be a cool shot right here, not knowing the insanity of what again that image tells, because there's so much there. The true passing of the torch, the passing of the crown, if you will, because it's not even just the torch anymore with them passing that true crown. Again, the Padrino, as we know, unfortunately, 2 weeks from now, is finally hanging up the boots. Possibly.
With wrestling, you never know. That's why when people like, oh, it's his last match, he's retiring. I'm like, all right, we'll see.
Hey, I love Theo. Again, it's one of those where since I've met him years ago, it's always been, yeah, this might be the last year. And then it's like, you never know. But yeah, with him again, with the retirement coming, and you got the insane things that Mike Santana is doing, representing NYC. Just when you see that picture, man, your reaction to that.
So I when it comes to backstage shit, I'm very apprehensive. I shouldn't have to be. I feel like I've gained enough respect to but I'm still always like I don't want to be putting the camera in these guys' face. But yeah, so I took the shot. Super cool. It's like all right, I know that one I kind of understood the gravity of it, but I believe I shared it with Mike later on that day. Because there's some shots that I'll get to them right away, stuff like that. And just like the text message he sent me back was super awesome, and you obviously understand what it means to him, and that match was just cool to shoot, but moments like that, like that particular one, we all know how big it is, but just like hearing how happy they are to just have, and that's another photo that's not really the best photo, technically sound. I mean, to me, you know what I mean, like. The Mecca is not the best place to take photos. Like, let's put it that way.
I've heard that a lot. Like, no matter, and again, thankful for guys like Ray's Lighting, thankful for Titan Championship Wrestling, who's been bringing their amazing lighting to the Mecca.
Yeah, no shade, but it's also, you know, I don't like using that as an excuse to for my shortcomings. But though when DPW was there, I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck they did, but those lights were like, you know what's funny? So quick little side story. I sent the photos out DPW. They nothing personal. They never like got the message or whatever. But then I get so mad because like I'll share like a graphic that they post on Instagram, and they'll like it. Like I'll, you know, when you share it to your story and they like
Yeah.
it,
And then
I'm like, I just want you guys to have the photos. I don't really, you know, but that's no, but the Mecca's it's still a cool place. Like I being able to shoot there, knowing the history behind it or whatever. But no, that shot in particular was that is one of those I kind of understood the gravity of it. It wasn't just like a, but it's still cool, man. Like, dude, you as a fan, like I'm watching these guys on TV. You know, before I got to meet Mike and Homicide, what you call it? Like I'm watching these guys on TV. I remember when what's his Santana and Ortiz. Like I knew of them, but you know I was still like there was still a lot of shit I needed to brush up on the indies. And when they came to AEW, like I knew it was a big deal, and to see the reaction and to see him and Ortiz do what they did on AEW, and then you know to be able to shoot Santana at House of Glory, see him win the championship, you know, and just see him come in every fucking month whenever they put on shows, just killing it. Um, and then on the flip side to like catch Homicide on the tail end of his you know career. He's another one that I first saw live on AEW. I think he was on like an episode of Rampage at Grand Slam.
yeah.
He made like a special appearance or whatever. And then to be able to shoot him with Cardona, that was like the first match I got to shoot of Homicide. And I'm going to be at the last show.
Oh, nice.
So that right there, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy, man.
We're
Like,
gonna,
it's a sad moment.
the last
Yeah,
show again. We never know. We know this could be it. I definitely when that was announced, I'm like, just in case, I gotta go to this.
You
I was
can't
like,
not go. Like, I'm so mad that I wasn't able to get to Revolution last year for Sting,
yeah.
because Sting was like, Sting is that dude, bro. Like, he's one of my favorites, from the Surfer Sting to the Crow Sting. To see what, like, I remember when he showed up in WWE, so hyped, like, oh shit, we might get that match of him and Undertaker.
Yeah.
They kind of botched that whole thing, and then he got hurt, and that's a whole other story. But then dude, when he showed up in AEW, I was sitting on this very chair, and I don't know how I fell off this chair, bro. Like, I fell off this chair.
The
And I was,
excitement, man. That excitement.
Dude,
Like, oh,
I was like, yo, dude. But sad I wasn't there. But for like to be able to be there for Homicide, like that's pretty cool. So I don't know who he's wrestling yet. But either way, if this is his last one, like I really want to do my best to try to immortalize it, you know, whether it be through a really cool photo or a really shitty photo that, you know, it says a lot, you know.
Well, again, shitty for you. Again, for us, I don't think there's a bad picture you can take, man. But look at that. We got Matt also saying Sting stung you.
Dude,
That's what it was. You just stung him. You got him right there the minute he came out.
I was on my ass, bro. Like it was I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And I was just like, oh man, that's my dude right there. But but even then, you still see him like kind of. Well, actually, I know now he's not gonna be doing the makeup anymore, so I think it's like really like legit retired.
Yeah.
But,
hey, again, I feel like you still might see him. You'll see him show up like at a con or something like that. But now it's gonna be no makeup. It might just you meet Steve at this point, unfortunately.
And
like it's
also
well
fine to
earned.
me. I would love to meet Steve. Yeah. To that's the coolest thing about this experience is like meeting those people like behind the curtain. So with the mask off, so to speak, and just knowing them as people. And we all, you know, the cool thing about like this generation of wrestling is that like it's not a secret that, you know, wrestlers have like lives like us, and they're into video games and movies, and you know, so it's pretty cool. But to actually see it like in person, like to, you know, when they know you by a first name basis, people that like you were watching on TV, that's fucking insane. That's
always insane. No, it really is the craziest, and it's one of those. Every time I'm in the back and getting to work these shows and getting to be a part, just having that mutual respect and having that conversation is one of those where it's like that little kid in me still, the 3-year-old that was watching is just like, this is not where I thought this was gonna be. Like this is
Dude, when
like
when people are asking about you when you're not there, that's fucking huge. That is huge, bro. Like, not to name names, but there was a couple instances where like they're like, "Yo, where you at?" I'm like, oh, I'm not, it's like fuck, that's really crazy. But yeah, no, I never thought that would be a thing, but it's something I will always fucking cherish.
no, definitely not. There we go. We got Matt saying there's not going to be a dry eye for no, definitely not. There's not going to be a dry eye that day. We're going to
I'm
all
gonna
have
feel
to
that.
share
Yeah.
the tissues and bandanas and all that because it's going to be a day. But
Yes, sir.
it's funny because I didn't do this on purpose. I just noticed with how I put the pictures in there. But going from Homicide, knowing again the insane career he has, the people he looked up to, the next picture just it involves that funny story about a certain again Japanese legend with Kojima.
Oh,
Of brother, this picture right here, I was just like, because I grabbed two, because I didn't see this one first. I grabbed this one just because
oh
again, the
yeah.
honor of getting to shoot Kojima. But then I see this, that I'm like, it's again a perfect just moment in time right there of being able to catch where it's like the confetti dropping, all of that, and just it's the again, it's a image that tells you everything. It gives you that feeling of like if you weren't there, this is almost how it feels to have that fisheye right there.
That shot, there's a lot of stuff going on in that shot. Obviously, Kojima winning the title, MLW title for the second time. That's a guy who like I got to shoot prior to that at the New York show. It's him versus Tom Lawler, which is pretty fun.
Oof.
Um, but having him come in and I mean, it sucks that he beat Alex Kane. Uh, Alex is my dude.
Yep.
But just to be able to know that like we're going to have Satoshi Kojima around for all our shows for the time being, crazy. And I usually it's pretty cool when you see people follow you of like big stature and whatnot, like popular people. But when he followed me, I was like, yo, this guy's 50 something, not really, the older people are not really like the most, even though he is on social a pretty good
I'm
amount,
gonna say,
but
hey, he loves to post about his bread.
that is
If there's
true.
one thing
His
that Kojima likes to post about is his love for bread.
his bread and his dog. It's
Yeah.
adorable seeing him train his dog. But like even still, like because I'm more used to getting like the internet reactions from
Yeah.
like the younger people, the
Of course.
like the Cardonas and Riddle and stuff like that because they're on it a lot.
Of course.
But when you have an older Japanese legend follow you, I was like, bro, what the fuck is happening? And yeah, he's such a nice guy, man, and just to be able to be there for that moment was so surreal. And then Frank, Ref Frank,
Yep.
that was a big moment for him too. I forget the exact story he told me, but it's obviously him handing off a championship to a legend. That's usually you do a main event for a world champion for a legend as a referee. That's a big thing. And for me, I love one of my favorite things about doing this is taking photos of everything around the ring, whether it
Yeah.
be the ring post, a fork in the turnbuckle, like a nod to homicide.
Yep.
The ring people, the ring the commentators, the refs. I always call the refs like the bass players of a wrestling match. They are
Ooh,
probably one of the most important pieces, but nobody gives a
definitely.
fuck about them. Because when you look at a band, nobody really cares about the bass player. And when you understand like how bands and rock and all that stuff works, like you don't realize how important the bass players are. Like them and the drummers are probably like that, and the drummers and the bass player like feed off of each other. So anyways, for Frank to like, he had told me like that was such a big deal for him, and then in you can't really see him, but there's a Yuji Nagata. He came out, brought like some beer, and he had a couple cups. He ends up giving me a cup, so I'm sitting next to Meg. She was doing the ring girl stuff that day. I'm just sitting next to her, just drinking the beer, like right after, like during the show, like right after Satoshi Kojima wins the championship. And there's a shot I got too, like I think it was like right I don't know if he was coming out or when they were leaving, but like Nagata just like he has his beer and he's like like pointing it at me and stuff, and that whole moment, and that was my second MLW show, but like that was like the one that got me the job there,
Gotcha.
and just yeah, that was like a it was a big moment, man. Just like I said, for me, it was cool because obviously the shot is awesome, but it was like shit. I get to work with Kojima more,
Yeah.
you know.
No, again, that right there, just it's an insane moment. And I was waiting. I was like, I want to see if he's gonna say he doesn't like the photo.
Oh no, that's one. I actually want to print that out and give it to Kojima. The issue is like he's back and forth to Japan, so I don't want him to have to travel with it. So I got to figure out a way to like maybe I'll just ship it out there. Fuck it, I'll just be like, yo, whatever.
Hey, it's worth it for the legend. It's worth it for the legend right there.
For him, yeah, him and Suzuki. There's a couple of shots I want to give him. I showed both of them the book, and they were just like, "Oh, very nice."
which is funny because again, we go by the pictures we have here. I grabbed this one because I was like, again, it's got the bro right there. Also, Akira Kwan, who former guest of the show right there. And just seeing this, because this is another one like we talked about with Santana and Homicide. You have this image right here where again, it's that duality of you have the legend, but then you have someone like Guan who's he's at that level, and it's like there's so much left to evolve there. Like he's not even at that like he's not even right there, like the premise of where he can get to.
He's another guy that I just have so much love for. Like he showed me like the most amount of love that like anybody could have shown me. And I remember being there. That might have been, was that? I don't remember if that, no, that might have been more recent. I think that was like in December. But it was in New York where him and Suzuki won the championship together. And dude, like I can only imagine. Like I'm a fan of this. I get to shoot them. I'm shooting my friend becoming a champion with Suzuki.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does that feel being a fan of Suzuki and you're his tag team partner winning a title with him? Like that's just like, because you guys are forever intertwined now. Like I mean, you're a tag team, so you'll always be there. But when you're in the record books as a champion, that's my dude, and he's like, like so crazy. But that shot right there was and Suzuki's another one where like he obviously has that intimidating aura. He's just like, he is who he is. He's a badass dude. But like when you're back there with him and he like warms up to you, bro, it is so like, even before that, he's still very like chill. It wasn't that show, but I remember one time he was going over a match with Kojima, and whatchamacallit, actually it might have been, I don't know, but anyways, I'm over there taking photos of it backstage, and he looks at me and I'm like, fuck, he's gonna be so pissed, and he just starts making stupid faces, and I was like, all right, that's cool, now I know, I'm not bothering him. And then it was that show though, with that picture where I shared a beer with Suzuki, which was so sick, man.
Again, it's two moments of just getting to get a beer with legends and just having that moment of just.
I remember like having a bunch of Coors, and I was like, hey, I waved him down. He comes over, he's like, oh, what's this? And I was like, I know it's cheap beer, but it's free. So he opens it up, and so cool, man. But yeah, just to like have shots like that, knowing how important that is to like Akira, Tristan, and dude, I know him by 3 different names, and it's just crazy. But whatchamacallit, like just to know that like that's such a big deal for him, and I get to immortalize that. Like it's there was a time where I forgot what show it was at, but it was Santana. He was backstage with somebody, and there was a couple other photographers, not like Gunny or anybody else, just like some random people. And he goes, yo, D, come take a picture for me. And I was like, damn, out of all these other guys here, you chose me. Like stuff like that's really cool, because it's just like you come from watching these people on TV, just a nobody, and just a fan, and all of a sudden you're trusted with like a moment like that.
No, that is, again, it's showing just what you've done though, that work you're putting in, that grind you're putting in, again, that respect now, everyone having that true respect for, again, the art that you're doing, for your craft, if you will, pun intended. But I do want to take a pause a little bit here from talking wrestling, from talking that, because I wanted to talk about another passion of yours. Again, you got the amazing shirt right there. You got the amazing background right there. Because
Show him
again,
the
looking
picture,
through
bro.
things, I'm like, huh. So there's something else we share again outside of this craft is a love for collecting as well, and especially collecting things of a certain, again, huge kaiju in Godzilla right there, and just the amazing just stuff of again also even having some turtles and horror. So
Oh, dude.
I want
As
to
a
talk about that and just your love for. Uh,
Oh, you could keep
oh no,
going. I just
I was like, oh no, did he drop something? Did something break?
no,
That
nothing
is
important,
always my worry with collectibles. Oh, look at that. That is
dude. This
oh,
is my Christmas present or my birthday. Was this my birthday present or Christmas? Christmas present.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still a couple short of the collection, but
Gotcha.
yeah, that right there. And then they dropped some Care Bear Universal monsters, and they
Did
got
that?
me
Okay, that I did not know.
yeah, I got Gilman for Valentine's Day. I'm
Oh,
so
that's
hyped.
cool.
Yeah,
So we got to get into that then. Just
yeah.
the collecting, and then especially the genres of your collection here. Of again, let's go with Godzilla first. Just your love for Godzilla and all things that.
Dude, I mean, I've been a fan of like Godzilla, all things kaiju, like mechs, Power Rangers, Gundam, one superhuman samurai was like Gridman as they know in Japan, all that stuff, bro. It was just like it was always ingrained in like just my culture. Like I was always a big like I didn't like anything for the most part that was like real life. Like all the cartoons and stuff I watched or anything that I watched when I was younger, it was like SWAT Cats, Ninja Turtles, Biker Mice from Mars, Extreme Dinosaurs. Most of the stuff that didn't really involve people, like all the Nickelodeon shit, like all that, I didn't give a fuck about. I was
Gotcha.
not really big on the Disney stuff. Like, I don't know any of the names of the shows. I'm not even trying to be cool,
No,
but
no, it
I was
works.
just like, if it wasn't like the only thing I did watch that wasn't like cartoon anthropomorphic shit was Temples of the oh what the fuck Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Gotcha.
The only show I liked. I hated all that. All the other stuff. But Godzilla was just always. I didn't when I was younger. I didn't really have a lot of Godzilla stuff.
Gotcha.
It was like I don't know. I guess maybe it wasn't as accessible. Um, like unless you had certain like ties like Japan and shit like that or whatever. Maybe if you like in Chinatown, they would have like certain places that would sell stuff like the little vinyls.
Yep.
But I guess like my closest link would be like Power Rangers because obviously that was like all over the place. We had the big monsters and shit like that. Um, but I've always been a fan. Something about the big man always, always just intrigued me. And then I got fortunate enough as I got older to be bestowed with money, kind of not enough to like support all the shit that I really want to because
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think we'll ever. Hey, you never know. Maybe one day we'll be blessed to be able to.
hey, look
But
at Cardona. Cardona he's got a lot of shit. So maybe one day I'll get to that point. But I will say though, a lot of the I do owe a lot of like my collection to Kayla because like she's also a Godzilla fan, and I kind of when we got together, I threw her down a rabbit hole of like Godzilla collectibles and like vinyls and shit. Like, oh, dude, I have to show you. I don't know if you've ever seen, but I have the entire Showa era collection on vinyl. I have I think almost every Heisei movie because they Waxwork and Mondo Records. They've both been releasing like I'll send you links. I'm gonna ruin your life, but
it's just like,
um
oh damn, now I kind of want to buy these.
dude,
Oh yeah.
it's so cool. Like the Showa era thing. It's all 15 movies. It's 17 vinyls. Some of them are like a double LP. They all have their own like they could be sold separately technically,
Yeah.
but it comes in a big box and the art's super cool. Some of the Heisei ones are dope. Like I have one so the Return of Godzilla. You open it up
Mm.
and it's like a big pop out. So it's got the
Oh,
city and
that's
it's got
dope.
Godzilla. And then Destroyer is another pop out. When you open it, it does the Destroyer roar. Yeah, bro,
Oh,
it's it's
that's
bananas,
sick.
bro. We have all three Mothra movies. What else? I have King Kong, King Kong Escapes or whatever, the second one. the one
Gotcha.
where he fights Mecha Kong or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so like the only Godzilla soundtracks I'm missing, I think, is Final Wars because they haven't released that yet. Or at least they haven't like Waxwork or whoever hasn't released it. Shin Godzilla, the '98 Godzilla, and I don't remember if I have the New Empire. I believe I do. I I'm pretty sure I do. If I
I was
do,
gonna say that's the best thing when just because of how much you've collected that,
you
like,
don't know. Yeah.
do I have like it's me, because I will say this, I'm glad I've kept most of my collection. I
Hmm.
have a lot of the classic Power Ranger figures. The only
That
thing
I
I don't have, which I always just say, I wish it was still around. I had the classic Megazord, and my mom thought it was broken because
goddamn
they were.
parents.
So now it's like that's what I'm trying to earn with enough that it's like I want to be able to buy it new, not even just like open. I want to get a new
Yeah.
of the classic Megazord.
I never had the so back the only I never had the original Megazords. I did have my grandmother bought us like the entire Thunder Zord collection. So we
Cool.
had like all five. We had the White Tiger and Pterosaur. I think the big turtle thingy.
Got you.
So yeah, but we did like I think it was like was it Legacy? I don't know, but they kind of re-released them back in
Oh no,
like
yeah. There's a lot of now thanks to the new collection that now that's how I got a Dragon Zord because I never had
yes.
the to be able to do the flip. I was like, oh,
What
now I
was
got.
the what was the Megazord and Dragonzord? What was that's Legacy, right? Yeah. So we had they released them back in like the early 2010s. So
Yep.
yeah, the only thing we're missing is Titanus, but they're like it's almost the same thing. There's just a little more die cast, but yeah, same thing. I was finally able to get the Dragonzord, finally able to get the Megazord. It was so cool. Just take it out the box and put it all together and make all the stuff. But yeah, like that. I don't really have any of my old stuff, dude. There was like a lot of like we had moved to Arizona and lost
Gotcha.
lot of shit and came back. One of those deals. Uh, I was able to get my brother for Christmas a couple years ago, like a SWAT cat figure.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let me show you. Hold on. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
fire.
dude.
That is,
I if people don't know SWAT cats, just go on to YouTube and watch the intro. It is the most
oh yeah,
badass
I'll get you hooked.
show.
Yeah, I'll get you hooked.
Dude, it
I,
is. Oh my god, man! Like we grew up on some gems, bro. Like, but yeah. Now Godzilla was always my. I just love him, man. It's just like watching like when it's crazy because you can watch the old movies and obviously they're goofy to an extent. Some of them are more serious than others, but it's just this level of like creativity and the craft. Like, yeah, he's not real because there's somebody in a thing, but there's this like level of like intimacy or whatever, like realism to it because it's an actual person in a suit. Like CG is dope to an extent, but you just watch those movies and you understand like what they were doing, why they were doing it, and it's so
cool.
cool. And then to know that like Godzilla was able to stay relevant, like throughout all the ups and downs of like the creative process and like kind of thought they were done with it and the ups and downs and all that, and for Godzilla to be like relevant and resilient and like fucking -1 was like one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay, I was about to ask, were you a fan? Because that movie made me tear up.
Dude,
Like,
I saw that movie in the theater 3 times. We saw it twice in color and the one time in black and white,
okay,
and every time, dude, it's just like it just yeah, I kind of got the same way. Like I got all teared up and like um it was like from the get, bro, from that island scene when you first hear him like roar and like what they did with it was so cool. And again, bro, like they did that for like so little money.
yeah,
Like the estimate was 15 million, but they're saying it was less than that. Like that's
I,
how much it took to make it. And that movie and so got -1 and Dune, those two movies are like essentially everything. So those movies kind of like reflect on everything that's wrong with Hollywood. Like those two movies were able to like do so much with like, I mean, Dune had more money,
yeah,
so but
definitely.
still was like it just showed you like what movies can be, like not just like this mindless like cash grab. And there's been some dumb Godzilla movies like I'm not the biggest fan of New Empire. Uh,
Got you.
I watched it again on the airplane ride, and I felt like compared to Godzilla versus Kong, that movie was, I love that movie, bro. They like, I don't like the human parts, whatever. But dude, just seeing Godzilla and Kong go at it, the way
Yeah,
they did it, the way they executed it, and it still looks fucking good to this day. It's like you just gotta take time with movies. But yeah, -1 was like something else, bro. Like that right there, like it's like I can't wait for the sequel. I don't
no,
know
yeah,
what they're gonna
same.
do
And
with
it's
it,
just,
but
oof, that was one that I was like, okay, this was. I definitely was a big fan of when they did it in black and white because I was like, this gave it that real feel to it too. That was like, it just made it
yeah.
so much more.
And
But
even
there we go.
Shin Godzilla was such a good movie, dude. Like I love how it was just like a completely different take.
Yeah,
Like looking at it from like the government's point of view, and like it was so cool. And again, it's just like yeah, it's this really weird giant creature, but it's more than that, you
yeah,
know.
it works so well though. It gives that feel of like, oh, this works. This is something right there. But we got the good brother Bradley in the chat. Two goats, Grace in the sea.
Oh
Th-
man, you
Thank you, Brad.
guys.
Thank you so much again for tuning in here. Another one that again I cannot give him enough flowers. He has been truly the person that's been allowing the vision for respect to be a thing. Like he's
Mhm.
been all the artwork you see for that show has been through Bradley.
Yeah,
I
he's been
can't thank
pounding
him
out
enough.
some beautiful graphics, bro.
He's been killing it, man. I'm just like, hey, I send him whatever assets he needs, and it's just like again, I trust you with it, and he has knocked it out the park
Yo,
every single time.
we are like graced with like so many like not only creative people but just like genuinely like great people
Yeah.
like Bradley, Michael, um I like just David Velasaka, Gunny. It's like everybody's just so cool, man. We're just all having fun and just like creating shit. Like it's funny. Like I don't know how old you are. I said that I'm. Am I allowed to ask that?
No, yeah, yeah. Just I was gonna say, just for the record here, I'm 26. I'll be turning 27 this July.
I cannot believe I'm a whole fucking 11 years older than you. That's crazy.
Yeah,
But I
wait,
look like I'm just as young as you.
no, and that's why when you said that, I'm like, he has to be lying because I'm
Bro,
like, he has to be
1986,
around
bro.
like, holy shit. Okay, yeah, because I'm
That's
like, that's why when you said that, I'm like, he has to be just like joking for the podcast. I'm like, there's no way, like,
dude. When we talk about the 2000s,
yeah,
in my mind it feels like yesterday.
yeah,
But then when you sit down and you look at it like, bro, we're about to be half a decade. Well, we are half a decade separated from COVID or the
yeah,
pandemic. Like time fucking flies, bro. But
yeah.
yeah, so what was I getting at? Cool
The amazing,
people. Hey,
amazing people and creatives were around as well.
see. I'm getting old. I lost my train of thought. But no, it's still cool to be like surrounded around all these people.
Yeah.
Just everybody's just having fun. Um, just creating, bro. It's so cool.
No, that's the best thing. We're all creating and we're all getting to put together to make again these amazing experiences, amazing moments, and just all because of the love for this one amazing thing too, this craft that we love, this business that we love.
Hmm.
So it's always amazing. And look at that, we got Ben rooting in the chat right there saying Danny the
Oh
goat again.
man, yo,
That
I don't
love
get
for
to
you, brother.
I don't get to shoot Ben enough, man. I shot him like twice, and like every time I shoot him, there's always some cool shit going on, bro. He looks so dope, man. He's always doing. I love how he's always thinking, like just ahead of the curve, and just like kind of outside the box, just like always creating. But I never see him enough, and I need to see you more, Ben.
We need to get some more Ben rooting around.
More Ben.
Um, Now, these next two, we're going back to your images here, the amazing just art that you're creating. This right here, again, I have to get your reaction. It's two pictures, but we're gonna show them simultaneously here because again, the legends that you've gotten to shoot. To be able to shoot these right here, I gotta get your thoughts on of the current
I kind of knew.
reigning
I kind of
and
knew that was coming.
yeah, I had to because I'm like, out of everyone, it's like getting to shoot the Hardys.
I
Just
remember when House of Glory announced they were gonna be there. At
yeah,
first, I was like, okay, cool. I don't know why. I guess it just in my mind, I didn't really. But then as the weeks kept going by, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna shoot the fucking Hardy Boys. Like, I'm like, what's going on? And I mean, I don't know if you were at the show, but dude, that crowd was like, there was the most amount of people I've seen in a House of Glory show. And we always pack the house out. Like
yeah,
House of Glory usually always packs out. And even if they don't pack out, it feels like it's packed out because like
yep,
the energy there is insane. but that shit was like from the from just the crowd to ringside to the backstage area. You know, that's a whole whole thing. But it was
Oh no, yeah, it's
crazy.
always
I think I
it's
think
somehow always
everybody
packed.
got COVID. Yeah, I think everybody got COVID at that show.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yep.
but it was surreal, man. Just the energy from when they came out. And bro, Matt started following me. I was like, holy shit, like what is going on? There's a couple times where I was shooting ringside and like two people in two separate occasions was like one dude I remember like very vividly. He was like, dude, no offense, but you look like Jeff Hardy, and I'm like, why would I be offended, bro? Like that's crazy, bro. And then yeah, somebody else told me that on another occasion, and I thought that was pretty awesome. But dude, it was so cool. And then there's a couple shots I got. Also too, to digress a bit. At the end of that match, Jeff Hardy is walking around ringside. My girlfriend's a big Jeff Hardy fan. Like she loves Jeff Hardy, she loves Darby Allin. Like those are like her two favorites of like, you know, I guess like now and then. So he walks by her, and I was like, yo, hey Jeff, can you come back? My girlfriend's there. Can you take a picture with her? He's like, yeah. So he comes back. I got like a little quick video photo of her. I know it's not the most appealing photo, but she was so happy with it. That was super cool. Stand up guy for that. But yeah, nah, dude, the fucking Hardys, bro. It was just like so surreal. Like I always think back to the tables match they had at Royal Rumble.
Gotcha.
With the fucking taxi cab coming out the thing, and that's like then obviously the TLCs and all that stuff. But that was like my first like. I mean, I've been watching, but that was just the one that like because they were doing the whole Brood thing before that, and that was pretty dope. But when they came out, it was them and the Dudleys and that tables match at Madison Square Garden, and I was like, dude, and just like watching them do what they do, and you know, and then even seeing like the stuff that like Jeff struggled with, but like knowing what he put his body through, and you know, it's just like it's great to see him still out there, you know, like and then Matt's just such a he's just such a great person. Like just everything about him, man. Like I kind of wish I was able to like just chill with them and like, you know, pick their brain and just, you know, chop it up with them, but one day. But yeah, just shooting them was so cool, man, and like having that on my resume, surreal.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got to shoot them and Nick Nemeth, who Nick Nemeth is one of my favorites. Like, he, I always hated how he was treated in the company. I mean, I know he was happy there or whatever, but I always felt like he was like our Shawn Michaels, like the modern day
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels. I mean, I grew up in the Shawn Michaels era still, but he was like that era Shawn Michaels. And I remember like a little quick story, but like there was that time where he was coming out to No Music. So me, my brother, and my friends, we would call him Bullet Club Ziggler because he came out black, you know, black denim and all that stuff, and they had just let go of Cody not too long ago. So I was like, yes, he's finally leaving. That he got squashed by Goldberg. He picks up the mic and starts talking shit. He starts dropping words that Vince hates, and I was like, he's gone. Fucking next day or like the next week, he wins the championship. I was like, fuck, happy for him. But I was like, dude, if you saw what Cody did, Cody killed it.
Yeah.
But if Nick Nemeth left at that time, oh my god, like he would have fucking destroyed the world. But yeah, so to get to shoot them, like, you know, like a couple months from each other, insane. But dude, I still like I shot the Hardys, bro. That's crazy.
Oh, that again, it's an insane thing. Like getting to meet them a few times, getting to at a hog show, getting to work around them, was just an insane moment. Again, if you can ever pick their brain just a bit, the knowledge you can get even in those mere moments, it's just insane. Like
they're just like such a, and then also too, again, they have those like, you know, they're into stuff that we're into.
Yeah.
Whether it be movies, video games, music, and that right there is just so cool because we grew up kind of like looking at wrestlers like they're not real people, like they're superheroes or whatever, which is cool. But like, you know, when you start to see that they have personalities and shit like that's just so dope. I think the one guy like I need to shoot before he hangs it up is Jericho, and I think everything will be like full circle. Because like, dude, he's another one like. He's into music. He's into rock music. I'm into rock music. He's into horror. You know, like there's a lot to.
Hey, he was in those Terrifier movies. You never know. Never know what could happen. Like seeing him in that, it was just the most like full circle of all the things of like this makes sense.
dude,
Like,
I
I don't know.
remember
Makes sense.
seeing. I don't know if they showed his name in the like the opening credits
Yeah.
or the closing credits, but no, I think it was the opening credits, and I'm like, okay, Jericho's in this. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, I'm waiting to see him, and then I was like, oh, maybe he was just like underneath some makeup or something like that, or
Yeah.
maybe it was like a, and then the end credit scene came, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, bro, Jericho on the big screen, and
So
and then I get to see him kind of like he still got killed, but it was still cool to see him in the
it was
next
so
one. And
cool. Yeah. Even
yeah,
seeing that, it was like, that was, yeah, that happened.
yeah. So he's another guy like I feel like because he's still active in wrestling, and it would be cool to get like that final like of like the old school guys that
Yeah.
are still doing it. Um, that's like up on the list, and I think it's possible he's out there. The cruise and all that shit.
You never know what could happen. You never know again with how crazy wrestling is with all
Yeah,
these forbidden doors, if you will, opening up. You never know. You
yeah,
never
Chris,
know.
you got to get me on that cruise. You will not regret it.
Like there's two more I want to show because this
Okay.
one is we just had him on the podcast about a week ago now of you getting to take this picture right here of the current TNA world champion Joe Hendry.
Oh
Uh,
man,
just
dude, I remember him before he was wrestling, but when he was doing What Culture, he was
mhm.
doing the top tens.
Yes.
Um, I remember him from that, and then I at that time I started watching, and it's like, oh, he wrestles. That's cool. You would see him on like What Culture, their wrestling thing, or like doing like stuff I think in Progress, or maybe like out
Yep.
there Rev Pro, whatever. And then he gets put on the TNA. He's doing I forgot the gimmick. It wasn't this gimmick. It was like a almost like a presidential kind of thingish.
Yeah, he was
Something
very like
like that.
motivational type deal, like very yeah.
Yeah, he was a heel, but he was
Yeah.
like kind of like almost. He was like yeah. It was weird to put into words, but I just
Yeah.
remember seeing that. I was like, oh, that's cool. And my brother, big fan, and he was always like, yo, dude, House of Glory needs to get him. House of Glory needs to get him. Like him and Simon Miller, two guys. I actually got lucky enough to shoot Simon at Defy.
Nice.
But those are two guys that my brother's like, yo, House of Glory, gotta get him, gotta get him, gotta get him. And then eventually, he got him, and the reaction was crazy, bro. Like to see what something as simple as a song could do. It's a crazy thing about wrestling. Like you can either be like the most technical technician in the world, or you can just be like a character.
Yeah.
And there's so many levels to this, and but yeah, just to see him there and the energy was surreal, and it was fun, man. It was a fun little match to get to shoot. I would love to shoot him more now that he's a champion.
Oof. Again, it's a you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen there. Um,
But that was yeah, it was fun, man. Joe Hendry, bro.
th-
Like I
th-
said, I remember him from YouTube, bro, and
yeah,
see where he's at now.
and getting to talk to him a few weeks ago, getting to just pick his brain a bit. It was one of those I wanted to bring it up, but unfortunately, again, with the restrictions, time limits, all of that, it's like I wanted to bring it up because seeing him the first time I really got to see him was through that YouTube channel, but then wrestling wise was getting to see him wrestle Kurt Angle. Like I feel like that's the match that really like put him on the map, and it was like it's insane to see the growth. Again, we're talking to him, and he was in the Royal Rumble. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
But this next one I got to show because it leads us into the just amazing gallery that you were able to do to with this picture right here that leads us through.
Don't
just
take it off yet. Hold on.
Gotcha.
Let me get a photo of that because this picture is so fucking iconic, and
Yeah.
oh man, but yeah,
No, we get to that, and that leads us especially to just through hell through the Danny Darko gallery right here. Just talk us through all that, man. That insane just lead up to everything that gets us to the amazing gallery that you were able to do and the amazing book that you were able to release as well.
Okay, so we'll start with the photo.
Yep.
That was a Mania week. So I shoot for New Fear City Circle 6. Fucking love those shows. If you've never been to them, they are the most chaotic but safe. Believe it or not, they look so unsafe, but they are probably the most safest shows I've ever been to. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, but we were out in Philly, and that was a crazy week. That's where I started this whole successfully failing world tour thing because I like to. I don't ever take myself too serious. Like if you see me on social, like I just like to have fun and put stuff up there. So, I was like, let me just make a Darko Mania graphic, like just because I was actually the busiest week I've ever had. I did 6 shows in 4 days.
Oof, okay.
um, and it was wild because it was in Philly. I had to rent my camera, rent a bigger lens because I actually shot a Ring of Honor. I got access to shoot from the hard cam, which is pretty sick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I did that. Um, Ended up like using rent money and stuff like that. So it was kind of like it was a gamble. And like it sucks because it was so close. So Philly's not that bad, hard to get to. But like
Got
wanting to do the same thing this year with Vegas, that's gonna be impossible because like
yeah,
I can't swing like a fucking $500 ticket. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that's kind of going to Philly is nothing. It's like going to Long Island. But yeah, so we did that. That was on. They had 2 shows. They had one on Wednesday and then one on Saturday. The Saturday one got me sad because on Friday they held a show at a Philly skate park. Forget the name of the skate park, but I think it's like FDR skate park or something like that. It was in Tony Hawk.
Got you.
And,
Got you.
and I remember Casanova told me about that months ago, and I was like, yeah, let's go. But then I saw it was like the same day as House of Glory, so I was like, fuck. But I was like, maybe it'll be different time, whatever. Because House of Glory and Revolver were doing that show, and that is like, I've been dying to shoot for Revolver, so I was like, I can't not shoot that.
Of course.
And bro, we shot in a church, so that was like kind of
No,
crazy.
yeah, it was again. It looked amazing. It looked amazing on camera. Again, shout out to just that collaboration right there.
Yeah. The only thing that was missing from that show was blood, but I remember when when a certain somebody came in, the first thing I asked him was like, "Bro, you bleeding?" He's like, "I want to," but I don't think they let it because I think Philly is kind of getting a little strict with the
Yeah, they're
commission.
they're forming. They're a little more of a stricter commission there. It's becoming, unfortunately, how we are here, which
Yep,
is
it's all about the dineros.
yeah, fortunately.
So yeah, so we were supposed New Fear City was gonna do. They did the show on Friday, and they were gonna do another show at the skate park on Saturday. So I was
Gotcha.
like, all right, cool. I missed the one show, but that's fine. I'll get there. This whole thing happened where some girl like OD'd who wasn't even involved with anybody there. Like I'm pretty sure you might have heard the story.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just it was what could go wrong. What did
Yeah.
go wrong, and they actually got lucky. Because the police or sheriff or whatever, like all the things that did happen could have led to like a lot of bad shit, but they were just like, yo, once this shit's over, if you guys are not out by a certain time. So anyway, so we were supposed to have the show again there on Saturday. I woke up to see that news. I was like, fuck. So we did it at the same venue. We did it on Wednesday, but it was still cool, whatever, and plus it was cold. So, that
It might
kind
have
of
worked
helped
out.
out.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
might have worked out not doing it at the
Yeah.
skate park there. Again, it would have been cool though. The scenery, the view, the visual of everything.
That's the
But
only thing my gallery's missing, bro. That was
yeah.
the only thing it was missing, the skate park shows. But so yeah, we did the show, and I was stoked because Tara was there, and Tara Zepp. I've never got to shoot her, but she's one of those people that like she looks dope. I have to shoot her. It's not
Yeah.
because she's not because she's a girl. She looks good or whatever. It's just that like that aesthetic was just like so sick. And
Well,
like
yeah,
if
there's
you
such a visual to it that's like, oh, this is again, it gives you that there's something there,
bro, it's metal, it's punk, and I am metal, I am punk, and so I finally got to shoot her. It was a fun match, and I got that photo, and I was like, bro, this photo rocks. And it was just like it kind of just like catapulted, like Tara loved it, everybody else loved it. um we I submitted it to uh what's his name, James something. He's a big photographer in the UK.
Mm.
I forget his name, like his last name, but it's James something. He goes like Jim Bob or something like that
Oh, okay.
on Instagram. So he did this thing where he had photographers from the photographer group submit a photo, and they weren't going to review it. They were just gonna like uh give their thoughts on it. Like what, because they wanted pretty much celebrate everybody's photos from the year, like your favorite
Awesome.
shots. So I submitted that one, and so it was him, Aubrey Edwards, Simon Miller, and another photographer. And they all like they were talking about it, and they were just like it gives them this like 70s 80s grunge punk vibe. And I was like, thank you. Like that's what I want. Like I know that I listen to everything for the most part. Believe it or not, I used to rap. um
Well, then.
I'll put you onto some stuff, but I'm a big rock person. You've seen all my videos.
Yeah.
Everything's like I feel like rock and wrestling, it just works
No,
together.
yeah, it fits so well. Like,
And I know a lot of people don't like the music I listen to. That's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this because it makes me happy, it makes me whole. But like for people to see my shit and see punk and see metal, that's great. Because it's like I just I do stuff because I want to do it. But if it resonates with people and they understand it, that's great. Um, so I got that, and then that ended up becoming like the kind of poster for the gallery. So we fast forward to that. I wake up one day to a DM from I didn't know who it was at the moment. I just woke up and they were like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a gallery?" And at first I thought it was like a scam. Every time I get a cool message, I think it's a scam.
yeah. Hey, you never
um,
know. Again, especially with this, it's like,
yeah. But
gotta
then
check it out.
what happened was I had met a couple friends through a photographer friend earlier in the year. They opened up the cafe that we
Gotcha.
ended up doing the gallery. So there, the guy, his name is Julio. He runs Knockout Cafe in New York, 530 East 13th Street, Lower East Side. They He's an artist, so he wanted to spotlight like other artists of all kinds, and bring more traction to the cafe, but also give the sort of like art vibe, like where you come to have coffee, but you also come to like partake in like music and stuff like that. So yeah, he hit me up. We arranged it. It was kind of last minute, but it was cool. We ended up doing it like during the Christmas week, which was kind of cool because like I know a lot of people were off, but then family stuff and shit. So, but anyway, so we ended up doing that, and the funny thing was uh that kind of coincided with the book I wanted to work on. It originally was going to be like a culmination of like all the stuff that I did throughout the year. Um, it was going to be all black and white at first, but then I started doing stuff with New Fair City, and then like MLW, there was a lot of blood. So I was like, I can't make that black and white. So that kind of like made it difficult because I was like, how do I put this all together?
Yeah.
Do I only have color? Do I mix it up? Is it gonna look weird? So that was an issue. The gallery thing happened, and I was like, I think this is the perfect time to put a book together with it. And it all just like it was crazy because the project was supposed to like showcase everything throughout the year, and I have a lot of photos. So I was like, how the fuck am I gonna narrow that
Yeah,
down?
it's like that's
Yeah. So Julio and Felipe, they're the guys that run Knockout. They kind of created a bio for the gallery, and they used the words extreme wrestling, and I was like, okay, so it's not really gonna I'm not gonna showcase like extreme wrestling per se, because that's like a but the extremer side of wrestling.
gotcha.
And Through Hell was a name that I had for a while. It's kind of like you could kind of make a big, me put a big meaning behind it, but for the most part, just like a. So I thought it was cool.
All
Also,
right.
not trying to be edgy to all the, I know, I know people believe and they have their faith, and that might be offensive to them, but it wasn't me trying to be edgy. It's just like
Yeah.
you're going through hell, and it kind of worked. Like it's like so the book kind of showed like the more darker side per se, because it's not like Dark Side of the Ring, but like the more extreme, like there's a lot of down in it. Not many victorious moments in that book for the most part. I mean, I do have Santana's a shot where he won the House of Glory title. He's like down, he's like kissing the belt or something like that. He got like the toys on the floor, fucking so cool. There's other stuff that's not really dark, but it just like pretty much just highlighted the extremer side of my wrestling, and I think that weirdly enough made it easier because I was able to pick out certain moments, and there's still a lot that like I left out.
Hey,
Um,
that gives the option of more books and different genres of your images. Again, it's the art that you have is such a. It's not just this is could define it all.
yeah, and I do want to do this in like 2 or 3 parts. So my thought was like to keep this like I kind of started running with it and like adding to it. So we're like the first two books would be more of like you're going through hell, like the
Gotcha.
downer parts, and then the third part would be the more victorious. So it'll still be dark, but you'll
Gotcha.
have more brighter moments. So I don't know if I'm gonna do the gallery in 3 parts because there's a lot that goes into that. But I am planning on doing a second gallery. We want to do it in like September. It's a little
Nice.
nicer. Maybe more people come, but the turnout was still great. Like just like the amount of people that came for the opening day. I know it was like it was a was it raining? I don't know, but it was like, the Christmas weekend, so I wasn't really expecting people to come, and when I started seeing people, I was like, what the fuck? um I remember seeing Santana come down the steps, and I was like, no way. Like that was dope. And then, people that couldn't make it that day, they showed up throughout, like Dom Dinero. He's a big part of that gallery. There's a lot of photos of him in there. It was very that gallery almost became, and the book almost became like a sort of like New Fear City, New Fear City kind of book unofficially. I mean, there's other
Yeah.
stuff in there. I'm also pretty grateful that like Court Bauer, he actually let me use MLW photos. Because I was a little, they own the photo, so I wasn't sure, and I had hit him up. I was like, hey, I have this idea of making a book and of the gallery or whatever. And it would be weird to not include MLW because they were a big part of last year.
Of
I
course.
think more than half my shows were with them. Like a big percentage of it was there. And I was like, yo, and they gave me a lot of cool shit. Like, dude, the shots of Akira and Tristan in their they had a Taipei death match.
Yep.
The shots of Cruel, hit. I love that man. But his photo where he's just like leaking out. Everybody loved that shit. Like, it was so cool, and I was happy too to be able to sneak in the picture of Idris Jackson from the House of Glory show where he
Oh yeah, from that cage, right? Where he just
yeah.
he was like, oh.
I was so happy because I got those shots, and I gotta get these, and I managed to get it in time for the show. But yeah, so like the whole MLW thing, it was cool to actually like get permission to use it. And yeah, because I told him, I was like, dude, it would feel weird not including MLW stuff,
Of course.
because, and he was on board with it. One thing we want to do, and this is kind of up in the air, it's something, I want to say it's more like in motion, up in the air, but we want to do like a Cinco de Mayo gallery just for like maybe the week.
Ooh,
And
okay.
I brought up all the luchadors, and so Julio loved the idea because I believe Julio's Mexican as well. And when you see like New York stuff, like when you see any kind of celebration, even if it's a gallery, it's never wrestling. It's like, Dia de los Muertos, or
Yep.
something along those lines or whatever. And like lucha libre is really big in Mexican culture. Like if you go to the House of Glory Cinco de Mayo show, popping. Whenever MLW does like their Lucha Apocalypto shows in Chicago, popping. Like the Mexicans are there, and that sounds really like I sound like I'm being, but no, it's so cool. You got
No,
the guy.
it's such a, because again, it's one of those where it's so part of the culture as well, and it's such an art form for them that it's like there's such a just deeper love and connection to it.
Yep.
That when it's there, it's that support is you feel it.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Like when we
I
go
get
to,
you,
we're going to LA in April,
yeah,
and I already know, like that crowd is going to be very lucha heavy, bro. Like it's just like Mexico's right there, but it's cool because they're having fun. You got this like the people that come in with the megaphones, and they be like, "Chinga tu madre!" Like it's so funny, and then like the interaction between like, so there's one guy in particular in Chicago, and he always fucks with Mystico. And it's so funny because Mystico's supposed to be a good guy. He's a face.
yeah.
So he's always like talking shit to him, and then like I have a shot of like Mystico looking at him like, pretty much insinuating like, yo bro, you're drunk, shut up. But it's all fun though. It's just like but yeah, it's like that kind of that crowd is cool. So we thought maybe like even if it's just for a week, and I think that would be like a really good, and with that, I was thinking of maybe just using MLW stuff because I do have a lot of lucha stuff with them, and maybe I could get like some kind of thing going on with them.
Yeah.
Like maybe we could have like Mystico there.
Hey,
That would be fire. But that's something that like we've been talking about. But yeah, I really owe a lot to Julio and Felipe, like making the gallery happen. Bro, I've always wanted to showcase my work even before the wrestling stuff.
yeah.
Funny story. I had prints that I had made a while ago that I had with me when I brought to the thing just because they were there. And so there was like a shot of a squirrel. And I don't know if you've seen any of the images. There's like all this wrestling stuff, and there's like a picture of a squirrel in the corner, and so it was Felipe's idea that because we also had space, and and he's like, why don't we put this up there? And I was like, you know what, that's perfect, because it's so me, because I'm random as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I love squirrels, so it works too. And I was telling people, it kind of reminds me back in the day at in Prospect Park. They used to do this thing like a Halloween trail,
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like revolved around like the headless horseman and shit like that. And at the very end, there would be like three fairies, and they would like hit you with their wands, so like it would kind of make all the bad stuff go away. And I was a little bitch when I was a kid. I was afraid of everything. So that really like alleviated that. So I was like, for me, that was like that. Like you seeing all this dark and bloody stuff, and then squirrel just chilling. But
Hey, it's the perfect thing because it just adds another element to it, and it's just like squirrel.
hey,
Okay.
and if you could squeeze in anything you're passionate about, bro, like make it
Hey.
happen. Like I never like to like pigeonhole myself into things, but yeah. So I've always wanted to have a gallery. Like it's always
Nice.
been something I wanted to do. It's never that easy. You usually got to pay a lot of crazy money or whatever. But yeah, Julio and Felipe, they really made it happen, and it just like it fell on my lap. Just like I feel like a lot of things last year sort of fell on my lap. I mean, I was very like, go get it.
Of course.
I had that mentality. Like obviously, I did like the 53 shows in a year. I try to put myself out there anywhere, anytime I could. And but a lot of stuff, like I didn't expect any of this shit to happen, and now that I know it's possible, I feel like that makes this year more dangerous, because like I know it's possible, and now like all I got to do is like kind of apply myself. And but yeah, man, it's been a ride. But I think like the gallery was like the most like poetic way to end the year.
Yeah.
Because again, I started the year not knowing what was gonna happen. I did some House of Glory show. I mean, House of Glory was my home, so like I would always be there. But I wanted to do more stuff, trying to do GCW. I got the opportunity to do MLW. They, I am their main photographer, which is fucking surreal. And yeah, and then like that opens up more stuff. Like I got to meet so many people, like uh, Paul Walterhauser. Like that's my homie.
That is,
I'm friends with a
again, that is
Hollywood
an
actor. That
insane,
is insane.
insane sentence to say of just
Dude,
like,
and
and
he's such a great dude. It shows me nothing but love, man. Like
oh, it's awesome.
and just like well, when I got to meet JBL, I don't know if you heard the story with that.
Oh, I
He
did not have that.
Yeah, he did a little one of his clothesline appearances in MLW. He clotheslined poor Mr. Thomas. And that photo, he shared it. He shares photos, which is pretty cool. I've seen like a couple of my friends show up on his page, but to see my shit on his page, and like he had complimented my photo within the group, like producers at MLW, and they
Oh,
showed me, and I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, and that was cool, because it's like, so going back to like when I used to rap,
yeah,
um I always got this like sort of like gratification from like showing my stuff to older hip hop heads, the
yeah,
guys that were like 40, 50, 60, that grew up when hip hop first emerged, and
yeah.
like going through all that. And so I would show them my stuff, and to get the reaction from them felt better than like just showing it to like a young kid and being like, yeah, fucks with your shit, like I'll take all the compliments, like love is love, but to get it from like a somebody who's been in the game or understands it, and and you don't expect stuff like that from the older guys. They're not really about social media. I mean, some of them are, some of them aren't, but they have a different way of doing things, and to get that kind of love, that was pretty cool. So like that was like, yeah, just what we were saying. Like you're watching these people on one TV one day, next thing you know, like your name is on their photo on like Instagram or something like that.
It's that best feeling, man, because it's turning into getting to see those gratifying moments of, again, now you're getting to, they're your peers. You're getting to have those moments, getting to
Mhm.
work with them and have those moments of seeing, oh, they love what they're complimenting it and they're respecting what you do and appreciating the amazing work that you're doing. That's never gonna go. Just it's insane to see that.
Yeah, and
That's
it's cool.
always
It's not one of those like, oh yeah, that's that guy. It's just like, oh, that's
like
Danny, or that's Darko. Like Like, dude, I mean, look at you, man. Like, you was sitting down with Joe Hendry, Sammy Callahan, like Jake Christ, all amazing people. I love Sammy and Jake, man. I wish they were still with MLW because it was so much fun, but you know how that goes. Um,
And
People come and go in this business, but just to
yep.
be able to like sit there and like work with them and chill with them and just like have that respect where like they like, dude, Sammy, before I actually ever got to really interact with him, like I shot him and I sent him his photos. He had put one of my pictures as his profile picture,
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
that was before like me and him ever really had a conversation. And I was like, whoa. So that to me, that's like the biggest compliment I could get when somebody takes my photo, whether it's for like a day, a month, a year, and I have like my photo is their profile picture. Like that's a lot because that's the first thing people see. I know it's small, from the context of the phone, but for that to be like, oh, that's the photo I want to like, showcase, that's surreal.
No, that is amazing, and it's just gonna continue from there, man. It's why it was one of those that it's like I wanted to have this convo, and this has been uh, a great conversation here. Where we could go for hours.
We
That is
we can. I
the
could talk,
amazing
bro.
thing. But I definitely want to start wrapping this up a bit to again be respectful of your time here.
Oh,
But
I'm good,
before,
bro. I'm good. I mean, if you want to go, but nah, if you want to, I know,
no,
go
definitely
enjoy your
again,
weekend, bro.
I want to make sure again we be respectful of your time as
Oh,
well.
oh, I'm more worried about people listening. I don't think people want to
No,
hear
they're
me
still
talk for like
they're
10
loving it.
hours.
Again, we have an amazing amount of people that are watching. Again, they love you, brother. They love the work that you do. They love the amazing art that you create.
That will
So yeah, I
never
want to.
feel real to me, bro. Like I see it and I appreciate it and I love it and I'm sorry if I act weird when y'all compliment me, but dude, I usually react with like either emojis or like gifs because like I've always been like it's weird talking about myself and it's weird
Yeah,
seeing that and I love it, but it never gets to my head. Like it could, because the way y'all talk about me is crazy, but I can't like because it's it's just it's to me it was never about attention. It was about like being in a place where people want you there. Like I've been in a bunch of places where like I felt like I should have been more wanted or respected, or just like accepted, and I wasn't. And like I used to work in a tattoo shop and that didn't work out the way I wanted to. um but then like it's so ironic that coming into this industry full of big egos and big personalities, and I mean it might be different because I'm a photographer and not a wrestler. Like maybe it's a little different when you're in that realm because you are kind of, and like even you putting people on to the podcast and stuff like that, like you essentially are putting people onto like a newer audience, just making them look good in some way, shape, or form. And I guess that's what I do, and all the other photo and video people do. But it's still so weird. It's weird
no,
in a good way.
it definitely is. It's one of those where I still now like anytime I'm told this, it's like no, don't put the attention on me. It's about it's about showcasing the other person. It's showcasing the amazing things they're doing. We're here just we're that
Yeah,
caveat. We're just the okay, and now it's about them.
like a
Like,
conduit or whatever.
yeah,
Like I'm
it's the
cool
best.
with being that, like the man who pulled the trigger. But like at the end of the day, like it's nice to be like I said, when as long as you have your name next to it, that's all that really matters. Or even then, like there's times where people will be like, oh, some wrestlers don't tag, whatever. I get it. It kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, you should know your fucking photography. I know
Yeah,
when my photo is up there. Like there, there's people that like I know it's a lot of times not intentional. Sometimes people wrestlers they know so many people. They there's so much photos they get. Sometimes it just slips, but I don't care. Like anytime somebody posts my shit, like I'm like, oh, that's my photo. That's so sick.
yeah.
But
No, it's.
yeah, it's
I
just
can
fun
imagine.
being. It's fun being like that. Like stopping time, bro. That's a superpower, bro. That's fucking crazy, man. Like I
Uh,
can't wait to see these photos in like 50 years.
yeah.
Like I mean,
And again, even then, that's when you have like, oh, the stories that come from it, and just what it created from there, the domino effect of it, and
you
just
want
again, where it goes from there, man.
you want to hear one last quick story? Because
Yeah, of course. Again, it's
oh, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, so there's a very famous photographer in this space. His name is George Napolitano.
gotcha.
He shot for WWF, WWE for a long time. He used to be a teacher at my middle school,
Ooh. Okay.
and my cousin had him. He used to teach math, I think, and so my cousin was, I think he was 2 grades ahead of me. Um, so when I was going to get to the grade, when I think he was 8th grade. When I was about to be in 8th grade, he ended up retiring. So I was sad because 9 out of 10, I was probably gonna get him. I don't think there was like any other math teacher, in that school. So he used to give out like prints to students if they did good and shit like that. Like it would either be like wrestling or like Britney Spears, stuff like that, like pop
Um,
icons or whatever. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get like a picture of like Stone Cold or Kane or something. He retired. I was like, damn. So, but I would always see him when they had like the ringside photographers. It would be like, this is hard cam. You would see them on the right side. There'd be like 3 of them, and he was always there. And I'm like, oh damn, man. Like I kind of know him. And I think when I first got with Kayla, I was showing her because we were watching like old clips or something like that. I was like, yeah, he used to be my teacher, blah blah blah. So, anyways, fast forward, I'm in MLW last 2 Decembers ago. One shot. I'm up in the locker room or whatever. I turn around and I'm like, what? So I was like, no way, that's him. Oh my god. So I went up to him and I told him the story. I was like, how you used to teach or whatever. He knew my cousin and like he remember. It's crazy how teachers remember names.
yeah,
That's so cool because like it's kind of reassuring because like when like if a teacher, if they hear your name, they're like, oh shit, wow, that's him, like, and they're not just saying that. But so I told him the story. So funny enough, I didn't get to be a student, but I'm fucking working next to him ringside. Whenever we're in New York, he's there, and I'm just like, that's so surreal, man. Like an old legend of the game, and I'm like now his like peer or his compadre or whatever, like, and he's super nice to me, man. He was really cool, and just like being able to have that experience, and like he used to come around like when we did Philly, but he doesn't really travel, so but yeah, whenever we're in New York, I get to see him, and it's just a cool sight seeing old man George. I'm not trying to be derogatory or anything like that, but he's got to be like 70 or something like that. Like he's old, and but what I'm trying to get at with that is that's gonna be me. If you ever see somebody like ringside with a wheelchair, that's me. I'm gonna do this shit till I can't do it no more. Till I'm like blind. Arthritis ain't gonna stop me.
I
Dude,
can't wait. It's gonna be when it's like respect number 27. Danny Darko hit me up. Hey brother, I can still go.
yeah, right. We're gonna
We're-
be in year 27, like the 50th anniversary or some shit like that. And I'm
I'll
like,
be
yo,
like, brother, it's all
you
good.
got some time for little old me? My geriatric stories. Probably gonna let off like farts and shit like that. But yeah, that was that was kind of like one of those full circle moments that was just like, yo, that's wild.
No, that is right there, man.
Is there anybody like in the podcast sphere that like you want to like have here, or somebody
Because
like a personality, like maybe like a commentator or something like that, somebody that's kind of within the same realm but not, you
yeah,
know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
because of his podcast style, I definitely would love to sit down with Chris Van Vliet. Like I
That
think
would
Chris
be
Van Vliet
awesome.
would be someone to pick his brain for a while, get to talk to him, and just again get to get into that conversation. I got to meet him years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly, he came to a House of Glory show, and I spoke to him for a quick second because he was coming to again watch the show.
Yeah.
But he's someone I would love to have on here just to again, or even just to talk to him for a while for a longer conversation and just
Yeah.
tell him like seeing his work and just again being able to do this now and have the opportunities I've had. But commentary wise, oh man, there's because I've gotten the opportunity now to do Spanish commentary at a few places.
Mm-hmm.
I one day want to call a match with like Hugo Savinovich. Like I would love to do that. Or I was supposed to, and unfortunately it changed again. Card subject to change. I want to be able to call a Jesus Rodriguez match in Spanish because it was
Oh,
supposed to happen.
Jesus is the man, bro. That's another
Like,
dude. I never thought I would be able to call Ricardo Rodriguez my friend. Yo, when one of the days we were having a conversation and I texted my brother and my friend right after because we have a group chat. I was like, yeah, I was just chatting it up with Ricardo Rodriguez. Like that's crazy. Yeah, dude,
he's
it'll
such an
happen.
amazing person. He's another one that getting to that was another thing last year that I got the opportunity to sit down with him, and he's still someone that again shows so much support. Is such a amazing mind for this. He's another one that's like
dude. To see
it's
what
a gift
he's
to wrestling.
to see what he's doing with 3LW. Like I was there for the Red Rose Rumble last year, and just like seeing him like put all this together, and just like he's a guy that, like, obviously he's in WWE. He can just like ride that and do all these, like, meet and greets, and
Yep.
but no, he's genuinely passionate about this, and it's so cool because, like, when you go, if you ever been to like a 3LW show, like it's a really good production, man. It's like really, it's a fun show. The wrestling is on point. That's one thing for me. Like, I don't want to be sitting through, like, 2 hours of promos, like, and like, so when you give me wrestling, like, bro, like ETU is a promotion that, like, dude, every show I go to, it's just like, yo, this is fucking fun.
Yep.
Like, I feel like I don't shout them out a lot as much as I should, even though I feel like, I don't know, but I love those guys. Like, from the second they put me on, and it's been fun, and their wrestling is awesome. But like, back to Jesus, like him and what he's doing with 3LW, like, again, he could have just like rode that
Yep.
WWE wave and just like made money off of that. But no, he's putting every single penny he's got into this shit, and he does all these shows. He goes to MLW, comes back, starts, goes to train his students, and puts the shows together. Like the last show at the stadium, the Red Rose Rumble, it was crazy because it's outdoors.
Yep.
You never know, dude. It was like it might rain, it might not rain, it might, dude. It was just seeing his like stress level was so, like, felt bad for him, but there was something really poetic about like the show being able to go on. It rained, and I got to shoot a show in a baseball stadium in the rain, and and it was just good seeing like his thing come to fruition despite the elements. And that's a guy that I feel like he deserves all the credit in the world. I don't know if he gets it, but he deserves it.
No, he definitely does. He's another one that truly deserves his flowers, and just the grind that he does. It's one of those where he has done uh, a little bit of everything just to make sure those shows continue to go afloat, and they're truly great shows. If you're able to make it, please do yourself again the service of going to a 3LW show. I've
I
had the
mean,
honor again to talk to a lot of that roster of the students that are up and coming, and just the amazing people that he has on that team, and even himself. And it's a
mm-hmm.
yeah, I got to make it out to one of those too. Like, I have not had the chance yet, because every time it's like, cool, I'm gonna make it. Oh, I'm booked on this show that day.
Yeah,
But eventually, I do got to make it out to one of those.
the whole travel thing. That's like, I don't drive, so
Yeah,
that's my biggest hurdle. So like, I'm a slave to like the train, or like if somebody else is driving. So I would love to do more shows. I told them that at least, if nothing more, I will like try my very best to make like the Red Rose Rumble like an every year thing. I would love to show up more, but if I can't, at least that show.
got you.
As long as it doesn't coincide with like MLW or whatever. Which he works at MLW, so he works at
Yeah, it would
Monday.
kind of
So
work out. Yeah,
yeah,
that's been the thing right there. So it works out.
yeah.
But
Like with
brother,
the Janai thing, it's like, yo,
yeah,
she's there, so I'm there. Yeah,
that was funny, because that's why I was like, what, she told me her date was clear, so we should be okay.
it
Hopefully.
was a brain fart thing, yeah. Because like when I was talking to you about it, I'm like, I knew that was a thing, but yeah, my
Yeah.
mind be all over the
Yeah, because it was
place.
her, and then there's someone else that I haven't announced yet. I
Ooh,
can't put that out there yet. But that would be, if MLW is going on, I don't think we could do it. But we should be good. Here's hoping again. You never know. Card subject to change, so things happen. But I do want to ask you one final question before I let you
yes.
go, brother. And that is, I think I know where this is gonna go, just because of how you've been speaking, but we're gonna ask it anyway. For Danny Darko, what is the end goal, brother?
The end goal is to have enough money to take my girl and my brother to Japan. But no, like I guess with wrestling, I want to be in this for as long as I humanly possibly can. Like, I think like I so I was talking with my friend David Sahadi about this, and like I would not turn down WWE if they offered me an opportunity, but for what I'm looking to do, if I had the choice, I'd probably choose like AEW over them. And there's several reasons why. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I would love to shoot like Liv Morgan, Seth Rollins, everybody there. The production's crazy, but I feel like the biggest thing, not only like the fact that like I might be able to be more creative, like I might have more creative freedom over there is that there are ties with like New Japan and CMLL. And like I was telling you before, I'm a like New Japan is that like I want to go to Japan for many reasons.
Yeah.
This man right here, the way they treat everything like Pokemon and Gundam and all that stuff, and the cool like uh contrast of like traditional architecture and like modern architecture and all that. Um, but like to be able to do a New Japan show will be like a big deal. And one thing I love is like they have a lot of photographers out there. I know some people don't like that. That's cool. I get it. But for me, as long as you're cool, as long as we're all having fun, that's all that matters. And I every year I watch Wrestle Kingdom. Um, I noticed the one white dude, I forget his name. I think his name is Dan as well, which is funny.
Just-
He works with AEW, but he's a big dude, long hair, and I'm just like every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, that could be me.
yeah.
Not trying to replace him, but you've got all the Japanese guys there, guys and girls there. You got the American dude, that could be me. But I would say like I think if just to be doing this like for a long time, like I want to shoot Brian Danielson, Kenny Omega, guys like that. Um, I feel like that'll come, but yeah, just to be doing this for as long as I humanly can, and just to that's really it, bro. Just make it to Japan, I guess. I guess that's like
I think
the short term, long term goal. Because I'm kind of like I think 2026 is the year that Darko makes it to Japan.
I was gonna say with the trajectory of just everything that you're doing, I don't see that as an end goal. I see that as
The
it's
next
gonna
step.
happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
it's gonna be that step, especially with again the list of who's already a part of your gallery so far and just the repertoire of just who you've had. It's like it's gonna happen. We're gonna have a part two of this. It's like, so how was Japan? Like that's gonna be the next step right
Yeah,
there. But
I guess if the end goal is like to have that like like the Muhammad Ali photo,
yeah,
like we still look at that to this day. There's several like WWE photos, like Mankind on the or Undertaker on the Hell in a Cell, looking at Mankind, like
yeah.
stuff like that. To have a shot like that, that would be cool. But that'll come. So I guess yeah, the end game is just to keep doing this till I can't no more. Oh,
That's what I thought the answer was gonna
shoot
be.
the Knicks. That's my end game. That's my end
There you
goal.
go. That's
One-
somehow it's gonna get you that opportunity. Hey, and again, you
Once
never know what could happen. You
once you
never
see
know
this
what you.
mug in the garden, then maybe I'll just hang it up.
There you go. He's gonna throw his camera up in the rafters. That's it. That's gonna be it right there. But brother, before I let you go, I want to remind everyone, please, if you haven't already, make sure you are following Danny Darko on all of his social media right there. I am Danny Darko on Instagram, at I am Danny Darko on X. I'm glad you're finally back on there because I saw you were banned, unfortunately, for a few days because of. I hate that this has to be said. Please, if you call yourself a quote unquote fan, never say things about wishing harm on another competitor, on anyone in this. Like, just be better.
Yeah, you have
Be
to remember that they're humans. They're other people's friends and families. Like, if you don't like their personality or you don't like them, like, you don't waste your time on that negativity. Like, there's people I don't like, and there's things I don't like, and I rarely do stuff like that.
yeah,
There's no point, like it could just get me into trouble, and it's just dumb. You fall into this void or whatever. But yeah, dude, like the person that was brought up was my friend.
yeah.
I consider her my friend, and the person that you were hoping that would do that to my friend is also a cool person, and she probably wouldn't do that. So like
Yeah.
you putting that out there is not going to endear you. And I think to make this real short, like the thing that bothered me the most is like you really don't talk like that, but also on that person's like Twitter, it said like dot something. So apparently he's claiming to be part of some kind of media outlet or something like that, or maybe
Which
one
is
of those.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot do that, bro. Like you're burning bridges. Like there's again, I have opinions about things, but I'm not arguing with people about it on Twitter because it's pointless. Unless like you're a piece of shit pedophile or something like that, then like
Yeah.
then you're gonna have it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like you those opinions are dumb, man. And like wrestling isn't real. It's you know what I mean? Like it's not like stop.
Yeah.
Like don't just don't do that. Cause but I'm back. Yeah, I didn't wanna I tried to appeal it. They didn't and I was like, you know what? I wonder if anybody's like, posting stuff, interacting. So I was like, you know what, F it, whatever. At the end of the day, like it's not that serious. I just thought that was, bro. Just don't talk shit about people, man. Like
Yeah,
especially if it's like in the context of wrestling, yeah. Like say, oh, I want you to beat the shit out of him or whatever, but in the context of wrestling. But when you
yeah,
say shoot, break somebody's leg,
yeah,
I've seen
just
this girl work hard, and you're gonna go and wish somebody to take that from her. Don't do that because if somebody did that to you, you'd be mad.
yeah. Again, be better people.
But
But
I'm
we also
back,
want
yo.
to remind we want to remind everyone again. Also, go to these amazing shows that Danny will be a part of. The successfully failing world tour continues there.
Yes,
Again,
I
we're
will say every promotion that I've shot for is worth going to, and I'm not just saying that because I shot for them. I keep going back because I love the just the wrestling, the product they bring, the environment. It's fun, man. If you love wrestling, like you owe it to yourself. Like watch other things, and you might see some of your favorites. The world is opening up more.
again, you never know. Like again, you never know what can happen. You never know who can get announced where. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we're trying to make one of those stops happen this summer at a certain place. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. There's talks of having the Danny Darko at a certain show this July. So we're
Oh
gonna see if we can
yeah.
make it happen. We're gonna see if we
Oh,
can make it happen. Some art might have been made if we can finally finalize it, but we'll see what happens. We'll talk about
ooh.
that off the air. But till then, everyone, again, thank you so much for watching. This is definitely going to be one that we're going to have to do a part two very soon because
Oh
there's so
man,
much
yes.
more. We could do an hour just on, again, the other fandom, not even wrestling related, just on Power Rangers and all
Power
that good
Rangers,
stuff. Like,
Godzilla, sports, video
no,
games. You gotta be on
there's
anything, man.
there's so much we could talk about. But again, we'll do another one another day. Again, thank you so much for joining me, Danny, and
Thank you for
everyone
having me,
watching.
bro.
As always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.